Colleen Stan, the girl in the box. Colleen Stan was born on December 31st, 1956, in Riverside, California. In 1977, she was 20 years old and a young, confident woman, preparing to visit a friend for a birthday celebration in Northern California. However, this trip turned into a nightmare that changed her entire life: abduction and the beginning of imprisonment. On May 19, 1977, Colleen was hitchhiking from Eugene, Oregon to California. She was offered a ride by Cameron Hooker, a man with a violent past, and his wife Janice, who were traveling with their young daughter. Trusting them, Colleen agreed to go with them. After a brief stop at a rest area, everything changed. Cameron took her to a remote location, pulled out a knife, tied her hands, and placed a heavy wooden box lined with foam on her head, weighing about 9 kilograms. Colleen had to wear it constantly, even when she was in their home in Red Bluff, California, where Cameron kept her imprisoned in a small wooden hiding place under the bed. This box measured about 90 by 60 by 40 centimeters, making it impossible to sit upright. Inside, it was hot, stuffy, and dark. Psychological and physical torture. Colleen was systematically tortured. Cameron regularly beat her, choked her, and abused her mentally. Every movement she made was strictly controlled. Besides physical abuse, she suffered total isolation and hopelessness. Janice Hooker, Cameron's wife, was fully aware of the situation and actively helped maintain Colleen's captivity. She too submitted to Cameron out of fear of his violence. Cameron created a story for Colleen about the company, an alleged global network that enslaves people and mercilessly kills them if they try to escape. This myth was the basis of his psychological control. Colleen was completely terrified that if she escaped, her family and herself would be killed. In August 1977, only a few months after the abduction, Cameron forced Colleen to sign a slave contract, a document in which she committed to being his property without rights. This act was pure psychological violence and bound her even deeper into his control. Years in the box and isolation, Colleen spent nearly 7 years imprisoned, mostly in the wooden box. Often Cameron would only release her at night or for short periods outside in the yard, where she was still under his supervision and threats from the company. Temperatures inside the box frequently exceeded 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, causing her extreme suffering. Her psyche was broken. In isolation, constant fear, and hopelessness, she began to comply with Cameron's rules, a typical sign of what is known as Stockholm Syndrome. Her perception of reality became distorted, and she believed escape was impossible and life in captivity was the only option. Family visits and hidden suffering. After 4 years of captivity in 1981, Cameron allowed Colleen to visit her parents. However, Colleen behaved quietly, as if she were under the influence of some cult or foreign control, because she still believed that the company was watching her every move and that she could endanger her family if she revealed anything. Her parents did not understand what was happening and assumed she had a bad relationship or was under some influence, unaware of her true ordeal. Breakdown in the kidnapper's family and rescue. In 1984, Janice Hooker began feeling guilty. She knew Colleen was living in terrible conditions and that Cameron was mentally and physically destroying her. She began to fear for her own life and her daughter's because Cameron tended to solve conflicts violently and his sadistic tendencies were escalating. Janice decided to take a risk and secretly contacted Colleen, revealed the truth about the company, and helped her escape. Colleen called her parents and returned home, where she tried to start a new life. Trial and justice. After Colleen's escape, the police were immediately involved. Cameron Hooker was arrested and brought to trial. Colleen gave a detailed testimony about 7 years of torture and imprisonment. Cameron was sentenced to 104 years in prison without parole. Janice Hooker, who helped Colleen escape and testify, received immunity from prosecution and avoided jail. Her testimony helped uncover the shocking details of the case. Life after imprisonment and legacy of the case. After her release, Colleen Stan tried to lead a normal life. She got married, had a child, but later divorced. Years later, she began publicly sharing her story to raise awareness about the psychological methods kidnappers use to control victims. Her case became the basis for numerous books, documentaries, and films, including the book The Perfect Victim, 1988. Colleen's story became a symbol of extreme psychological manipulation and one of the most prominent examples of Stockholm Syndrome in criminal history.